Welcome back, everyone. How's everybody doing? Good. Good. We're gonna have a really good night, a really fun night tonight. We have a great topic, and we're broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. So whenever you're speaking, if you can have your camera on, and if you can leave it on, that would be great. So what we're going to talk about tonight is the flip side of hate, understanding nature through love. So the flip side of hate is love, and in nature, there's no hatred. Nature is just full of love, and if we can become like nature, this is what we'll see. This is what we'll see with all of us. And a little secret: the Open Diner. The reason we started the Open Diner was for this exact reason, to change, to warm all the hearts of the whole world, and so we can all really come to love and cover everything with love. So this is great. We're gonna have a great night. I'm excited. I hope everybody has their meals, something to drink. We have our live music, and Alyssa is going to tell us about the mute button, and I'm excited, friends. Alyssa.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Great to see everyone. Yeah, the mute button. Let's talk about mute button. Rona will show us where. Yeah, this is where the mute button is located. If you're connected on your computer. Yes, there is a red blinking circle around the bottom of the screen. So this is pretty easy, self-explanatory. That's where it is, and you just have to click it and mute yourself when you're done speaking. On the iPad, it is located at the opposite. It's at the top right, and there, the blinking corner will show you where it is located. So if you connect it on the iPad, that's where it is, and it's pretty easy as well. So uh, we hope that it will help you to navigate through muting and unmuting whenever a host is calling on you, and it will be easy for you to do that. So let's move on, and we will have a great dining together.
Thank you, Alyssa. If there's anyone watching on Facebook and YouTube, please send comments, questions, and hit the like, which turns into a love button, and that helps us out a lot. So thank you. And we're gonna go into oh, what we want to do is, if there's any new people here, please open your camera, open your mic, tell us where you're from, introduce yourself. Um, Paula, you're new. Actually, Paula, I think, has been with us from the very beginning, and I don't know if she's missed one show. So big for Paula.
Yeah, I'm Paula from New York. Great to be here.
Thank you, Paula. So are there any other new? I don't see. I don't see. Nancy, I think you've been here from the beginning too. Ah, big kiss to Nancy. All right. Well, um, go
Thank you.
ahead. Say
Whatever.
something.
Hi guys. I hope you guys are doing all right. I think I had one shot of espresso that I really didn't need. So I am now eating my spicy chicken sausage and I'm going to calm down. And then I'm going rowing.
All
That's
right.
exciting. Enough about me.
It's always a pleasure to have you, Nancy. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. David is our live musician tonight. David, please.
What a precious group of people that are here. Hi, Paula. Hi, Nancy.
Hey, David.
So they asked me to come in here and play every once in a while, and I forgot who it was sent me a chat, said, do you know that Beatles song, All You Need Is Love? I go, yeah, I know that song. She's like, well, you know how to play it. That's two different things. So I tried to figure it out for y'all. Hope you enjoyed. We're going acoustic unplugged tonight. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. There's nothing you can do that can't be done. There's nothing you can sing that can't be sung. There's nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. There's nothing you can make that can't be made. There's no one you can save that can't be saved. There's nothing you can do, but you can learn how to play the game and be in time. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love is all you need. There's nothing you can know that isn't known. There's nothing you can see that isn't shown. There's nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be. It's easy. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love is all you need. All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you. Love is all you need. Love is all you need. Love is all you. Love is all you. Love is all you. Love is all. She loves you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Something like that, I think. All right.
Amazing, amazing. I love it. I was waiting for that second part with that you did. It was good. Even that was amazing. So this leads us right into our icebreaker game, which has to do with love, and that's the topic of tonight. So, well, we won't waste any time because we want to try to hear from everybody. The question we have tonight is: tell us about a time in your life when you felt the greatest love. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic love. It could be any kind of love that you felt to somebody or somebody gave to you or you gave to them or anything, a pet even. It's not an easy question just to come up with like that. I'll go first to give some kind of example what the question is. I know, it happens all the time. You have love, let's say, this week and last year was different than 10 years ago. So love changes, I would assume, as we all change. So my love that I had the greatest love in the past 3 years is with my dog, believe it or not. I'm in a relationship with my dog, Bougie. I have this dog and it's like unconditional love. I have to say, it's the greatest love. I wake up in the morning, she's there with unconditional love. At night, any mood I'm in, she's still there and she loves me. And it's such a great love because I love taking care of her and we really have a love affair. So that's my greatest love that I've had in the past, you say 3-4 years, but it could be different for anybody and everybody. Anybody who wants to add to what they feel, it could be any type of love that you felt. I'm not going to call on anybody. I just figured if, you've been here 1 or 2 times, but it seems like we're all veterans here almost. So if someone wants to go first,
I can go.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, John. Go ahead.
I met a friend much later in life, and sometimes you just don't know what kind of an impact a friend is going to have, or someone that you meet like much later in life. Because usually what happens is we get impacted by people early on, but this friend really exemplified the term unconditional love. And when I was exposed to that, it was something new, because usually love is contingent on, what's in someone's self-interest, or this makes me feel good, or things like that. It can be confusing because we get those things mixed up. But this person actually introduced me to an unconditional love that I had never felt before, and I'm ever grateful for that, because once you get touched by that, the only thing you want to do is like share it with everyone else, because it does exist. It's just a matter of coming in contact with it and spreading it to all that you come in contact with. So that's my experience.
I can go next. Um, about I don't know, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I found myself in like one of the lowest points of my life, where I lost a bunch of people all at once. I lost, where I was living, and I didn't have a job. Actually, everything happened at the same time. And this, I guess it was this is a romantic love, but um, the love that was unconditional at that time, um, despite the fact that I was going through all of these difficulties. And I think I moved. I didn't have a place to live. I moved 4 times in 1 year. And this person stuck it out and stuck with me all through that time. And this material aspect was completely irrelevant to that person. So that was extremely meaningful to me.
I'll go. Am I muted?
No, we can hear you, Nancy. Go for it.
The biggest amount of love I felt was after my injury, which was hell, pure hell, pure hell. I was not okay. I I heard this song by Edwin McCain. Um, all I ever, you're all I ever needed. You're all wait. I've got everything I needed. Everything, whatever. All I need is you, or something. I don't know. But basically, I met my ex-husband, and we fell in love immediately. And he loved me just the way I was. Just the way I was. He took care of me. I had seizures ugh, every month. He was always, always there. And he took care of me. He, and he loved me just the way I was. And he, he, it, the part of the song is, wait, being here with you, everything I need is everything you are to me, whatever. I have all I've waited for. I could not ask for more. And it's one point where he says, I thank God that I'm alive. I haven't felt that way since my injury in 10 years, 12 years. And it was so meaningful. I used to say to him, I love you so much. He was like, one time, baby, one time. But I couldn't help it. I just loved him so much. And it was wonderful. And we still talk on the phone. And he's still telling me, I know you, now just stay inside. Stay inside. And I'm like, Pop, you know I can't stay inside. Stay inside, Nancy. It's dangerous over there. And it's just so nice to have somebody who says, I know you, and who does know me.
That's
And
great. That's
it's
beautiful.
great.
Thank you for sharing that, Nancy. And that's you might be a musician on the show. If you learn the song, maybe you could do a song.
I could sing it, but it would make me cry.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a beautiful story. Thank you.
I love that guy. I always called him Pop Top.
I'm sure he feels the same. Anybody
Yeah.
else would like to share, possibly? We still have some time.
It's such a high point that I don't know. I don't want to disappoint you guys, but I fell in love with the city I grew up in. And it is a very unusual city. It's on the Black Sea, Odessa on the Black Sea, very cosmopolitan. The language is a mixture of Russian, Ukrainian, Yiddish, and other languages. There are so many different people living in the city. It gave birth to incredibly talented musicians, artists, scientists, you name it. It's just unbelievable. We grew up, it was not possible not to fall in love with this city where you're growing up. You know, majority of people around you, people used to live generation and after generation in the same places, it made the whole atmosphere like I don't know, there is nothing in the world like that. And I got married and we had to move to another city. And the separation was so painful that after that, I could move to anywhere, it wouldn't matter.
All right, so all of you know probably by now that I'm somebody who like wants to stick around people that want love to cover the world. So I've been to a few conventions where there's people that that's all they want, and the name of the convention is One Convention, and as soon as I got there, the people said to me, "Welcome home," and it was such a feeling of warmth and love. And I've been to a few of these conventions, and it's like that throughout the whole convention. Everybody is so warm and loving, and I've never felt anything like it in my life. So that was it.
We have a few more minutes. And we maybe listen to another couple people if you want to add, friends.
Can you add more about that one convention?
the when we talk, when we have our website here, it's called We Are One for the Open Diner. So that's what it is. It's a one convention, and we are one, and that's that's what I can say about it.
Got it.
I can't pinpoint one instance where I felt that overwhelming kind of love, but there have been many times where I have friends who are so close and so dedicated to each other and so committed to the relationship that it is really overwhelming, where you have kind of a responsibility for each other, and no matter what you're going through. And I've been through times, several times like that, where you just have friends that are like that, and they aren't afraid to express themselves to you, and you aren't afraid to express yourself to them. And there's a certain amount of trust that you have. And when you reach that point to feel how accepted you are, no matter what you do or what you say, it unlocks something inside of you that is just amazing. And I've been through that several times, and it's the most amazing feeling in the world. And it really changes your life. It really does. It's changed mine. I used to be a very closed off person, um, you know, a lot different than I am now, but maybe it's because I'm old. No, I don't know, but it does. It really changes you.
Nice. You have
Oh,
enough time for one more, please.
I'll share. I can't think of one person in particular because I can think of a lot of people, but I've had a relationship with I would say my family that kind of taught me this, because a lot of people that have kind of contentious relationships with their family, they just sort of throw them away or, move on and find other family. And um, I was like born with this understanding that my family was screwed up and I came from a long lineage of like screwed up family, but that I was here to resolve it. And so I think the love is something that it's like comes from that understanding that it wasn't based on what I was receiving from them, but that I was like here to teach them. And I make mistakes all the time. I'm horrible, but it's like in that just like desire to keep trying to find what real love and acceptance between us is, that I feel like I've seen myself and all my family members who like really came from places where they just never experienced love at all, like really bad parents and grandparents, and it just like goes on and on and on in my family. And just like for some reason I had this like knowing that I just had to like teach them how you stick it out, and no matter what happens, we like try to resolve and put love above it and love above it. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've experienced. It's not always fun, but it's rewarding.
We now have time for one more. So who's going to be the brave one to lead us on to this icebreaker?
Say after Alisa was talking about Odessa, I remember that recall that my favorite city was St. Petersburg. At that time, it was Leningrad, and I went there to study, and I fell in love with the city. And when I left, because I had to go back because I couldn't stay there without residency, and I had to go to work after the college. It was so painful. I was just sick without the city. It was like my city, my soul. And then I understand that every city has a soul. And if you fall in love with the city, it's like, yeah, it's like life, whatever creature. It's like it's your friend, it's your love, it's your yeah, everything. It's very important. Of course, I have a couple friends who I love and they love me. Thanks God. And other people, relatives. Thank you for sharing with me and for listening to me. It was nice to talk about it.
I'm sure you have more than a few friends. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so now we're going to go into, actually, Carl is going to lead us to the next part. Right, Carl?
Yeah, thanks, Roberta. Hey, I see Alexander joined us here. Do you want to introduce yourself, Alexander?
Hi, everybody. My name is Alexander. I'm in Irvine, California. I'm glad to be here and see all the smiley faces. It's a really pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. Thanks, Alexander. Okay, so we're going to listen to a video, and the producer of the video is here with us now, and he's done a few videos, and it's amazing. Let's hear about the video. Gary.
Thank you. The video you're going to watch is called "Why All the Hate," and it was born out of the whole coronavirus thing when we were all locked down and isolated, and it wound up that all of my contact with people was virtual instead of face to face, and I realized I was becoming closer and closer to those people than I had before when I was seeing them physically in person, because I don't know what there was. And then I was also connecting with a lot of people all over the country that I never would have like this. And to me, there was something of, I could feel a different kind of level of relationships where it was a stronger connection with people. But on the other hand, there were a lot of people that were getting more and more isolated from each other and a lot more hateful. There was a lot of, you had the riots going on, you had everything going on, and there was a tension. And so it seemed like the whole country was going in two directions. One was more connected and one was more antagonistic towards each other. So it inspired me to put together this video, and I hope you enjoy it. Go for it, Rona.
Wherever we look these days, it seems like hate is engulfing the world. It's not as though there was no hate before, but in recent months, it seems like there is no escape from it. Judging by the recent escalations in racism-driven violence and protests, it looks as though hatred is pushing America over the edge. Hatred is a uniquely human trait. No animal hates another animal, even when it feeds on it or when it is food for another animal. There is certainly fear, but there is no hatred. People are different. Their hate manifests in their delight at someone else's pain or humiliation. But there is a good reason why humans possess such a vile element in their nature. They are the only species intended to grasp the making and purpose of creation. In creation, everything exists through a dynamic equilibrium between opposites. Opposites are required for our perception. We cannot detect light without darkness, heat without cold, satiation without hunger, happiness without sadness, and good without bad. If you look at a social life of the animals, you will find that they are perfect for their species, stable, and almost completely unchanging. On the human social level, nothing is maintained naturally. The difference between animals and people is that nature governs the social life of animals and dictates how they should behave. They obey their natural instincts, and everything runs smoothly. People, on the other hand, have no internal compass. We must be taught everything, especially when it comes to society. At birth, nature endows us with only an animalistic desire to survive, which, as we grow, evolves into a desire to take pleasure in other people's pain and humiliation. But there is a reason for it. If we develop the positive feature within us, we will discover how all of nature works, since all of nature also works by balancing opposites. This is why nature has given us one half, the negative, and left for us to build the positive. Had it given us both, we would be living by instincts like other animals. But there is a reason for it. If we develop the positive feature within us, we will discover how all of nature works, since all of nature also works by balancing opposites. This is why nature has given us one half, the negative, and left for us to build the positive. Had it given us both, we would be living by instincts like all other animals. Therefore, developing love is the only way we can truly understand the world we live in, since it is the only thing that is out of balance in nature's equilibrium, and the only thing that nature will not balance by itself, but has left for us to do. When we do, we will understand nature, and we will know how to navigate our lives smoothly and peacefully. In all areas of human engagement, parenthood, relationships, social relations with peers at school, work, or in the company of strangers, we need these codes in order to compensate for the absence of love between us. And because our hatred for each other keeps on growing, we must constantly update our rules and regulations which still cannot truly make up for the absence of love. If they did, we would not see such a staggering escalation in the rates of depression, substance abuse, suicide, and violence. If we had love for one another in society, we wouldn't need moral codes or even rules and police. Better yet, we would create the opposite of hate, the equilibrium that governs all of nature, but humanity. We would not only be able to navigate our lives successfully, but we would truly grasp the making and purpose of creation.
Wow, Gary, that video is amazing. I've watched it a couple of times now, and every time I feel like I get something else. It's like one of those videos that you can watch for the rest of your life and only slowly start to grasp it. Okay, so we're moving into our roundtable discussion. So I'm just going to give a couple of reminders. Rona, can you put the slide up? Okay, so remember, everybody, that we're here to build a space of support, love, care, and warmth. So just 3 things to remember. So one is everybody is equal and very important. And the second one is we go around the table or the Zoom and we speak briefly and on topic. And 3, we listen attentively. So I think we all remember it, right? Let's just remember that we're all an equal part of the puzzle, and it's only between us that we can build the full picture. And let's try to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak, and let's actively listen so that we try to feel the other person as though they're ourselves. Okay, so we're going to begin. So we have 2 questions as usual, and I'm going to call on everybody just to make sure that everybody gets a chance. So the first question is, in your experience, what is the best way to overcome hatred? So in your experience, what is the best way to overcome hatred? I'm going to share a really quick story because I immediately thought of this when I first read this question. A couple of years ago, I was working with a team of moms. We were creating like a course for parents. And in our preparation, one of the moms shared, we were talking about bullying, and one of the moms shared a story about how her son came home from school and he was being bullied by this big kid in his class. And she was so upset about it, and she didn't know what to do with it, and she didn't know how to talk to her son about it. And she kind of just like told him, like, keep away from that kid and let me know if he bothers you again, because I'll call the school. And she said she didn't hear anything about it for a while. And then one day her son came home and he had brought the bully home with him, and they were now best friends, apparently. And so afterwards, she didn't say anything while the boy was there, but then after he left, she said to her son, what happened? How did this, what happened? He said, well, I decided that I was going to teach him how to be a friend. And so I just started being nice to him. And every time he would try to bully me, I would just say something nice, or I'd give him a smile. And he just slowly turned around and he stopped being a bully. And that story just stuck with me. And I immediately thought of that story when I read this question. So that's my answer. John Haddad, how about you? So in your experience, what's the best way to overcome hatred?
Wow, that's a great question. It seems like you can look at it from so many different ways. But one of the examples I can share is like, in like sports, when you play like a game, you get so focused on, I guess you can say, like winning, that you almost have like this hatred for the other team, or this feeling like you're superior, you're better, and they almost like build this attitude before going into the game. So it's kind of like this very competitive way of looking at things. But it's interesting how a person can go, from an environment like that, and then, go home to their wife and kids, and then have to be, a totally different person. So just knowing kind of like the environment, what kind of influence it can have on the person. You find ways to be sort of outside of yourself in order to reach some kind of goal, whatever that is.
That's really helpful, John. Thank you. That's like, I'm going to write that down in my notebook. Rono, how about you?
I think there's the aspect of the one who's the victim of hatred and the one who's the perpetrator. But we still, human, we're still the same animal. We still have the same, we build the same way. It's just our experiences that cause us to hate. And so I think the best way is to try to feel the other. Put yourself in someone else's shoes. If you are the victim of a hateful act, you realize quickly that it's, ignorance and fear was motivating someone to do something like this. So it allows you to actually bypass the desire for retribution or even reparation. You can walk away from it.
Thank you, Rono. I'm just, Nina, are you writing these down? Can we write them down? These are really good. These are really good. We should make a list afterwards, a checklist.
Maybe afterwards.
Sorry to put you on the spot. Nancy, how about you? Unmute yourself, Nancy.
It's a hard question for me right now because I can't feel any hatred inside except for Donald Trump. And that sticks with me every day. I don't care if his friggin' father was like this. So I'm, okay, try to get away from that, what I would think. The other thing would be, does it have to be hate? I mean, my mother criticized me forever. And actually, the last time I talked to Saeed a few days ago, out of the blue, he said to me, and you have to forgive your mother. I guess that's the best way to remove it. Because like Donald Trump, it's like that song, forgiveness, forgiveness, whatever. And if you let somebody like my mother or whatever, it eats you up inside. So forgive, and you can let it go. I don't know why, but this is hard for me right now. I think I'm lonely. I don't know. I don't even know why I said that. I don't know. Even the video made me want to cry. The hell are you guys doing to me?
Nancy, you actually gave a really beautiful answer. Thank you so much. Forgiveness is probably the first step to ever be able to overcome anything. Alyssa, how about you?
Thank you, Sarah, for asking. I was hoping you will do that because I don't know, Nancy and everyone, if that what I will share will help somehow. But I remember we were with a group of friends, very good friends. We went camping. There was a remote location. It was a long drive from the city. One of our friends came later. She had some circumstances, harsh circumstances. She came very upset, and she was in such horrible state and rejection of everybody in this group that we didn't know how even to deal with that. She was in a state of hatred of everyone in this group. And one of us, all of a sudden, just said, "Look, let's sit and think, and each of you, please." And he knew her better than any one of us, and he said, "Look, let's think about her, and each of you try to put yourself in her position." And she told us, shared what she was going through recently and how everything affected her. And just put literally yourself in her shoes. And now, what do you think? And we all sort of melted down. You know, we after each of us thought about that, we all got up and went and we hugged this lady, and she didn't know what happened, you know, but we all realized that you cannot understand other person unless you put literal yourself in her his shoe, and then maybe something magic will happen, you know, between two of you or a group of you.
Thank you, Alyssa. I think we just have time for one more. Alexander, how about you?
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm thinking on everyday basis, you know, how do you deal with hatred? And I mean, you know, we all deal with drivers on the road, and you know, you have those adrenaline rushes sometimes. But to me, I feel like, why would I give that other person the satisfaction of my response to their hatred? So I choose not to act. And I'm just talking about simple road rage, driving daily. Just don't give them that reaction. Just, you know, ignore. That's probably the best way. And as far as, you know, myself, you know, it's sometimes it's good to catch yourself on video if you are, let's say, reacting to something, because when you watch it, when I go back to that video later and I watch to, let's say, what I reacted to, in let's say let's say I became upset, and then when I watch it again the next day, and I'm thinking, wow, why did I become upset at this really trivial situation? What was I thinking? So it's always something that we live with, as far as you know, always have to try not to swim in our own stuff. Let's say that's probably the best mantra to have, is not to swim in your own things and just move on. And that's probably the best way to deal with these things. And yeah, and every day we wake up new, and we have a great day, and we deal with this world and everything that comes to us in the best way we can, and in the best manner possible. Just and I also believe in showing a good example. You know, it's always because everybody around us, they kind of judge by what you do, how you do it, what you say, and it's always good to be a good example. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexander. Okay, so let's move on to the second question. How do we replace hate with more love? How do we replace hate with more love? I'm going to reserve my answer. I know what I want to say, unless you guys change my mind, but I'm going to wait until afterwards. Nina, how about you?
Well, that's a tough one. I think, like others have been saying, it's always about when you're caught up in an emotion and it just takes over you. You can't really act rationally. You're just kind of reacting. So I think taking a step back and trying to understand the other person, because we're always so quick to justify ourselves, right? Our actions and our beliefs, but we're very quick to judge others. So kind of trying to understand where that person is coming from, and realizing that they're valid, they have a reason for whatever they're doing and where they're coming from. Trying to understand and feel the other person can help us rise above that immediate emotion and turn towards love.
That's good. Thank you. Paula, how about you?
I would have to agree with Nina. I would say that it's very easy to hate. It's much harder to love, I think. And you have to put yourself in other people's shoes and realize that there's always something behind the hatred. Some people are taught when they're young to hate, and it's just a matter of retraining yourself and you know, seeing things, through your own eyes and not through the influence of other people.
I feel like we're writing like a self-help book here between us. Amazing. David, how about you?
Goodness. I don't know what struck me when you asked the question was, it seemed like hate resides within me, but if I want to love, that love exists in the other person. So I think a lot of times I think, oh, I'm just going to stop hating and start loving more, and I don't need anybody to do that. And I think that's a fiction. It's a fallacy. I think that my love exists inside the other person. I can sit there and hate and fester all I want. I don't need anybody to do that. But if I want to love, I have to actually, it's like it's a verb. Love's a verb. I have to go to the other and find that love within them. That's all.
Thank you, David. Okay, we have a couple more. Gary?
Oh, I have to agree with what Paula was talking about too. It was perfect. And yeah, the other thing that I do is to realize that, I mean, there's two sides to it. When somebody hates you and when you hate somebody, but you have to realize that thing is in all of us. And if you look at somebody to blame them, you're blaming yourself. So you have to realize that it's something that you have to deal with. A lot of things that we see outside of us are in ourselves, you know. So it's just something that you really have to deal with and control and cover it, you know, exchange it with love somehow, as painful as it can be. But yeah, it is. It's very easy to hate and it's very difficult to love. And I think hate is something that's trained in people from a young age. You know, it's handed down, and people have to be retrained to love, and they have to know what it is. And the way you learn it is by somebody else loving you. So if I can love somebody else, then I can teach them how to love too.
Thank you, Gary. Oh God, I want to hear from so many of you. So let's try to keep it really brief so that we can hear from a few more people. Alana?
Yeah, I actually wanted to share an answer that we have on Facebook from Vivian. She actually writes something really beautiful. She says, I wonder if love and hate are somewhat like the relationship between light and darkness. Darkness isn't really a thing, it's just the absence of light. Perhaps we can see hate like that. It doesn't really exist either. It's just the absence of love. So we work at removing blocks or barriers so the love can flow through. Thank you, Vivian. Really, really beautiful.
Thank you. That is really beautiful. One more. How about Natalia?
So I think the same thing, but I have different words for it. But I thought the same thing, like if somebody is hating somebody or something, maybe they don't have enough love in their life, or maybe they didn't have their love in their life for a long time. And I'm thinking, what if somebody did love this person? What if this person had love in her life? Maybe they were not so hateful. And I start to feel pity towards these people who feel hatred. I'm sorry for them. And I would like to help them. It's something like this. Looking at people like they need help, they need love, and understand that. Understand why they have this hatred in their hearts.
Thank you so much, Natalia. So I'm going to share quickly my story, which is I'm a yoga teacher, yoga therapist, and years ago I was in a yoga training, and it was like this mode that was very much about like just meditate all the time, be totally non-reactive, never react, and then you change your reality that way. And there was something about it that was always a little uncomfortable for me. And I had a very close friend in the training I had met her there, and she used to be an actress, and she gave up acting when she started on this path. And I asked her why, and she said, because I think acting is totally non-spiritual. It's like, because you're just faking it all the time, and it's like totally the opposite of what I want to be. I want to be in this non-reactive mode. And like acting, you always have to react. That's like the whole thing. And I've actually been wanting to tell her this for years, and I'm so glad, because as soon as we're done, I'm calling her up and telling her this, because I've been wanting to tell her for a long time. I came to realize afterwards that it's completely opposite that it is not spiritual to pretend that everything is good. That it's exactly what Vivian just said, right? It's like the absence of darkness, the absence of light is where you have to actually put the light. You don't pretend that it's light. You build the light. That's the evolution. So I just wanted to tell her that like acting is actually a really high spiritual degree where you fake it until you make it. You put love in a place where you don't feel love. Somebody's not giving you this great feeling that you just like, you're reacting to it. You give back that feeling of great love. It's like, no, you choose to create a space for that person and for yourself that you're not feeling. And that's a really high degree, because when you create it, that's what everybody's saying, that then it's like love emerges from that place. Wow. Thank you, everybody. That was really, I really hope that somebody's going to go through this and either make a video of this or put down and make a checklist, because this stuff is like really gems that come out of here. Okay, so I know everybody's waiting for this, so we're up to our next part. We're going into our spotlight dance party. And tonight, because the theme is love, we're gonna just add one little tweak, as if it wasn't hard enough to come up with new dance moves, because we see that we keep reverting to the same things, is that this week is gonna be even more challenging, is that your dance move must be a dance move of love, okay? So it's some expression of love, okay? So I'm sure we can all think of a few. We may have to reuse them or think to use them in creative ways, but let's do it.
And no twerking.
Right, and no twerking. That's what thank you, Gary.
Let your heart speak. Let your heart listen, shoulder to shoulder. You won't be alone.
Love is around the deepest ocean. Together we're drawn in. I won't let go. It feels so good to be a part of you.
This is what their life should be. Learning to unite, living in the light. We'll win this fight, and everything's gonna be alright. Learning to unite, learning to unite, living in the light. We'll win this fight, and everything's gonna be alright. Learning to unite. Dearest friends, thank you for being, thank you for hearing what my heart says.
Now is the time for the walls to be broken, for the doors to be open.
It's time to pray.
It feels so good to be a part of you.
This is what their life should be. Learning to unite, living in the light. We'll win this fight, and everything's gonna be alright. Learning to unite, learning to unite, living in the light. We'll win this fight, and everything's gonna be alright. Learning to unite, learning to unite, living in the light. We'll win this fight, and everything's gonna be alright. Learning to unite, learning to unite, living in the light. We'll win this fight, and everything's gonna be alright. Learning to unite. There's only now, only this moment, when we are together, together as one.
That was beautiful. That was the best we've done with that song. I loved it. we really showed our love. That was amazing. I'm overtaken. I'm in love. Anyone, please give your comments, give your suggestions, give a toast about the open diner, about this open diner. So people that are watching it and will watch it in the future will have something to have an example, so you can tell them how great it is. I don't know what else to say. I'm just, that last song and everybody and the smiles and the looks on our faces is really priceless. And we see that love works. It works. I mean, why even stay in hatred for a second? Anybody else? We have a few minutes, and then we're gonna hear from David.
Thank
again.
you. I'll add something quick. I have to say, I felt such connection between everybody in this, what we did tonight. And it's so amazing because all the examples everybody gave of what do they do and how to add more love and stuff like these things will stick with me throughout the day, tomorrow, next week. I'll say, someone's driving and cuts me off. Well, geez, you know what? Alexander said this, or, Nancy said this, or, you know, forgiveness, it makes a difference. And I wanted to thank everybody who spoke tonight and was participated. Amazing job.
And I wanted to say something too. I hope everybody takes what they got today and carry it with you throughout the week into next week, and don't lose it. Don't lose that feeling.
And I'd like to say thank you as well, because it's like everybody here chose a good environment. We all have that choice to make. And so there's so much going on out there, but kudos to all the people that showed up and chose an environment that actually supports learning to love one another.
Did you have something to say, Nancy? You're muted.
Yeah, I see that you look like you want to say something. Even though we can't hear your voice, we definitely feel you by your expressions.
I know, that's what jury said once after grad school. That was my first job. They said, we didn't know about anybody else, the prosecuting ones or whatever, but you, we knew. I'm just so glad, you guys. I needed this, boy, because I realize now why I'm depressed. It's my hero, my brother, has had enough of me because of because he's taking care of, it's just whatever. I fucked up. And he's holding a grudge, and I never do. And I fucked up. And when my aide came this morning, I just burst into tears. And that's what I said. What the hell are you guys doing to me? Well, it wasn't you. Thank you. That means a lot.
Thank you, Nancy. You mean a lot to us. Thank you. David, please. We're running way over time. I can stay here. I can stay here till bedtime. Go ahead, David.
You know, when you guys invite me here, what I usually do is I usually come with a real, at least one song that's just a sketch. I'm a huge believer in open source music. I think it's the future of music. I think music should be shared and built upon copyrights or a thing of the past. So here's just an idea, rough idea. I'm calling it from this lesson. I'm calling this "My Love Is in You." So if you're hearing this somewhere down the road, take it. Yeah, it's not mine. It belongs to the universe. Love is in you. Lovers in
Thank you so much, David. That was wonderful,
Beautiful.
wonderful. Yeah, it was hard to say wonderful through all this emotion. Yeah, this is the end of our show, and so what else can I say? But it was the most wonderful show yet. And thank you, everyone, and thanks for coming. And remember to join every Thursday and bring your friends. Oh, I'm still here. Oh, okay. I can't see anybody else. I thought it closed. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Hi, you guys. Wait a minute. What are you doing outside, girl?
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Greta. Thank you so much, friends.
Bye. Thank you.
See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next week. Thank you.
All right. None of us know what we're doing. Here it is.